My name is Lauren Mitchell. I'm 29 years old, and I didn't know my life was about to crack open over a single Instagram post until my phone buzzed on a perfectly ordinary Tuesday afternoon while I was eating lunch alone at my desk. The office was quiet. The kind of quiet that makes you believe your life is stable, predictable, under control. I was halfway through a turkey sandwich, scrolling without thinking, when a familiar face stopped my thumb mid-motion. Ava Reynolds. My boyfriend's ex-girlfriend. We hadn't spoken in over a year. Her post filled the screen. She was leaning against a 2019 BMW M3, sunlight bouncing off the polished hood, one manicured hand resting possessively on the driver's door. The keys dangled from her fingers like a trophy. The caption made my stomach drop. Finally bought my dream car. Hard work pays off. Boss babe energy only. The comments were exploding. Yes, queen. She did that. Take me for a ride. I stared at the screen, sandwich forgotten, because that wasn't her car. It was mine. I bought that BMW 18 months ago. Paid $52,000 cash. Title in my name. Insurance in my name. Registration in my name. Or at least, it had been. Ava had dated Ryan, my boyfriend, before me. They were together for about a year. Ryan and I had been together for almost 2 now, and she'd been out of our lives, or so I thought. Recently, though, things had felt off. Ava had started popping up in conversations again. Not directly, but through tone, through posts about knowing your worth, through captions about cutting dead weight. Ryan always brushed it off. She's just dramatic, he'd said. I swallowed hard and tapped her profile. Then I did the smartest thing I'd do all week. I screen recorded everything. Her story showed her at brunch with friends, laughing, mimosa raised, and right there on the table, my car keys. Talking about leveling up. My hands were steady when I locked my phone. I didn't cry. I didn't panic. I called the DMV. 37 minutes on hold. I counted every second. I need to verify the registration on my vehicle, I said calmly, giving them the VIN. There was a pause. The vehicle is registered to Ava Reynolds. My blood went cold. Since when? The transfer was completed last Monday. The day I was out of town for work. The day Ava claimed she was sick and couldn't pick Ryan up from the airport. I never authorized that, I said. I never signed anything. Ma'am, we have signed documents on file. If you believe this was fraudulent, you'll need to file a police report. I hung up and opened my banking app. The car was fully paid off. No loans, no liens, which meant this wasn't just betrayal. It was theft. I called the police. When the detective arrived, I handed over everything. Purchase receipts, insurance records, DMV history, screenshots, screen recordings. Detective Harris didn't even hesitate. This is felony forgery and grand theft auto, he said. The value makes it serious. What happens now? I asked. We find the car. I didn't tell anyone. Not Ryan, not mutual friends, not her family. I packed Ava's leftover things into boxes and stacked them neatly in the garage. Meanwhile, Ava was living her best life online, cruising, laughing, posting. One caption read, "Surround yourself with people who celebrate your wins." I watched it all silently because the loudest consequences were still coming. The strange thing about knowing justice is moving in your favor is how quiet it feels at first. No sirens, no dramatic confrontations. No instant karma, just waiting. 3 days after I filed the report, Detective Harris called me back. We pulled the DMV transfer documents, he said. His voice was calm, professional, but there was something else underneath it, certainty. The signature isn't even close to yours, not even a good attempt. I closed my office door and sat down. She forged it? Yes, and she used a fake notary stamp. Cheap one, looks like it was ordered online. I let out a breath I didn't realize I'd been holding. This qualifies as felony forgery and grand theft auto, he continued. Given the value of the vehicle, it's not minor. We're issuing a bolo for the car. What do? I asked. Nothing, he said. Don't contact her. Don't respond if she reaches out. Let her keep talking. So I did exactly that. I went to work. I paid my bills. I cooked dinner with Ryan like nothing had changed. And online, Ava kept posting. Every day a new clip. Her driving with music blasting, her friends cheering. One video zoomed in on the BMW logo like it was a brand endorsement. The entitlement was staggering. She wasn't hiding. She was broadcasting. Then the texts started. First, from Ava herself. Hey, been thinking. Maybe we rushed the breakup. Can we talk? I didn't respond. An hour later. I know things got weird, but we can work through it. Silence from me. That night. Stop being immature. At least respond. I screenshot everything and forwarded it to Detective Harris. Good, he replied. This helps. Keep ignoring her. The hardest part wasn't Ava. It was watching her mother comment on the posts. So proud of my baby girl. Hard work pays off. I stared at the screen, jaw tight. Your baby girl stole a car and forged legal documents. But I said nothing. Ryan noticed, of course. You've been quiet, he said one night while we were washing dishes. Is this about Ava again? I met his eyes. She committed a crime, I said carefully. A serious one. His face paled. You don't think... I know, I cut in, and the police know. He didn't ask more. He didn't need to. 2 days later, my phone buzzed nonstop. Mutual friends. People I hadn't spoken to in months. Apparently, Ava had been telling everyone a different story. That I'd promised her the car. That I'd taken it back out of spite. That this was financial abuse. She even posted a long, rambling Instagram story about it. I watched it once. Screen recorded it. Then watched again. The comments were mixed. Wait, so did she give it to you or not? Why did the cops get involved then? Forgery is serious, girl. The post disappeared within an hour. Then came the message from her friend Maya. Lauren, are you really doing this? Over a car you weren't even using? I typed one sentence, then deleted it. Instead, I forwarded the message to Detective Harris. He called me 10 minutes later. You're doing great, he said. Most people slip up here. You didn't. What happens next? I asked. We wait, he said again. Waiting was torture. Every time I heard a car slow outside, my heart jumped. Every Instagram notification made my stomach flip, but Ava didn't slow down. If anything, she escalated. One post showed her parked at the beach. Caption: when they underestimate you, level up quietly. Quietly. I laughed out loud for the first time in days. On the 5th day after the report, she texted again. I miss you. We could have built something together. You're being petty. Petty. For reporting a felony. I forwarded the messages and went to bed early. The next afternoon, Detective Harris called. They found the car, he said. My pulse spiked. Where? On the highway. She was driving with friends. There was a pause. And Lauren? Yes? She's about to have a very bad day. I leaned back in my chair, heart pounding. Not with fear this time, with something colder. Something steadier. Justice doesn't always come loudly. Sometimes it waits until you've said enough. But I've seen the video, more than once. Detective Harris sent it to me later that evening with a single line of text. Someone saved the live stream. Evidence is secured. It was a Thursday afternoon. Bright, clear skies. The kind of day that looks innocent from the outside. According to the report, Ava had decided it was a beach day. Her, 3 girlfriends, windows down, music blasting. Of course, one of them, Maya, was filming from the passenger seat. Phone held upright, Instagram Live already rolling. They were barely 10 minutes into the drive when the lights came on behind them. Red. Blue. In the video, you hear Ava laugh at first. Did I speed? She says, squinting in the rearview mirror. I wasn't even speeding. The car pulls over. The camera keeps rolling. An officer approaches. Calm, professional. License and registration, please. Ava hands over her license and, without hesitation, the fraudulent registration papers. There's a pause, a long one. Ma'am, step out of the vehicle. What? Why? Ava laughs again, sharper this time. I didn't do anything wrong. Ma'am, step out of the vehicle now. The camera starts shaking. Maya zooms in. This is harassment, Ava snaps. I know my rights. The officer's tone changes. Ma'am, You are under arrest for grand theft auto and felony forgery. The scream that follows is visceral, high-pitched, panicked. What? This is my car. I have the registration. The registration you fraudulently obtained, the officer says. The owner reported this vehicle stolen. And then, this part still gets me. Ava yells, "Just because she dumped me doesn't mean she gets to ruin my life." There it was. The admission. She knew exactly who the owner was. Her friends start shouting, "We're recording! Police brutality!" "Ma'am, stop recording and step out of the vehicle," another officer says. "You'll need alternate transportation." The camera catches Ava in handcuffs, ugly crying, mascara streaking, voice cracking as she insists it's all a misunderstanding. The live stream cuts off seconds later, but not before everything that mattered was captured. I found out about the arrest an hour later when my phone exploded. Calls, texts, notifications. People I barely remembered suddenly had opinions. Ava's mother called me 15 times. I answered on the 16th. "How dare you have my daughter arrested over a car?" she screamed. "She stole my car, Diane," I said evenly. "She forged my signature. She committed multiple felonies." "She said you gave it to her." "I have text messages of her asking to borrow it after she supposedly owned it," I replied. "Why would she ask to borrow her own car?" Silence. "This is vindictive," Diane said finally. "You're ruining her life over a breakup." "She ruined her own life when she committed crimes," I said. She hung up. Then came the flying monkeys. Maya messaged first. "You're really doing this? Over a car?" "I use that car every day," I typed, then deleted. Instead, I forwarded the message to Detective Harris. Another friend tried guilt. "She's facing prison time over this." "She's facing prison time because she stole $52,000, I replied. One of them actually said, "Can't you just drop the charges? She'll give the car back." That's when it really hit me. They didn't understand. They thought consequences were optional. That night, Ryan sat beside me on the couch, quiet. "She did this to herself," he said finally. I nodded. "She always thought rules didn't apply to her," he added. "I just didn't think she'd go this far." Neither did I. But entitlement doesn't start with felonies. It escalates. Ava spent 3 days in jail before her parents bailed her out. $15,000. The conditions were clear. No contact with me. No driving any vehicle registered in my name. You'd think that would be enough. It wasn't. Because for someone like Ava, accountability doesn't stop entitlement. It just makes it louder. And she was about to prove that again. You'd think getting arrested on a live stream would be enough to scare someone straight. You'd think 3 days in a holding cell, orange jumpsuit, no phone, no audience, would reset a person's sense of reality. But entitlement doesn't collapse under pressure. It mutates. Ava got out on bail late Sunday night. Her parents put up $15,000, and the judge was crystal clear about the conditions. No contact with me. No driving any vehicle registered to me. No social media posts discussing the case. Simple. Basic. Unavoidable. She violated all 3 within 48 hours. It started quietly. A long Instagram story appeared under a burner account, but people recognized her voice immediately. She talked about financial control, about how I had promised her a future, how I had taken everything back when she stood up for herself. Complete fiction. She framed herself as a victim of emotional manipulation, hinted at abuse without ever naming it directly. The comments were divided. Some people bought it. Others didn't. One comment stuck out. "If this was a misunderstanding, why did you get arrested for forgery?" The story disappeared within an hour. Then my phone rang. An unknown number. I didn't answer. It rang again. Then a text. "Hey, this is Ethan. I'm with Ava now. Can we talk like adults?" I stared at the screen. Her new boyfriend. Already. I didn't reply. The phone rang again. Against my better judgment, I answered. "Lauren," a male voice said quickly. "Look, I know this is awkward, but she made a mistake. She's really broken up about it." "Let me stop you right there," I said calmly. You're calling me using her phone? Silence. That violates a no contact order, I continued, which is another charge. I didn't know. She's sitting right there, isn't she? I asked. More silence. You might want to hang up, I said, and tell her to stop. He hung up immediately. I didn't wait. I called Detective Harris. Within hours, officers were at Ava's apartment. She tried to claim Ethan had taken her phone and called me without her permission while she was sitting next to him. Her bail was revoked. Again. She spent another week in jail. This time, the judge wasn't amused. At the new bail hearing, Ava cried, loudly, dramatically, told the court she didn't understand the restrictions. The new bail was set at $25,000. The judge leaned forward. One more violation, he said, and you will remain in custody until trial. That's when her mother showed up at my apartment, unannounced. Diane looked smaller than I remembered. Her eyes were red, her posture slumped. She stood in the hallway, clutching her purse like a lifeline. Please, she said before I could speak. She's learned her lesson. She hasn't, I replied. This is destroying our family, Diane sobbed. She's not a criminal. She's just a girl who made a mistake. She's 27, I said evenly, and she committed multiple felonies. The lawyer says she could get 2 to 5 years, Diane whispered. Please, just tell them you gave her permission. I stared at her. You're asking me to commit perjury. I'm asking you to have mercy. I took a breath. Where was Ava's mercy when she forged my signature? I asked. When she took my car while I was out of town. When she posted online calling me bitter and pathetic. Diane dropped to her knees. I didn't move. I will call the police if you don't leave, I said quietly. She left. The preliminary hearing happened 2 weeks later. I had to testify. Ava sat at the defense table in a wrinkled jail uniform. No makeup, no filters, no audience. She wouldn't look at me. The evidence was overwhelming. The forged DMV documents. The handwriting expert who called the signature amateurish. The fake notary stamp traced back to an online purchase using Ava's credit card. Her social media posts claiming ownership of the car. And then the texts. Because Ava's closest friend, the same one who filmed the arrest, had flipped to avoid conspiracy charges. The messages were brutal. Are you sure this will work? DMV doesn't verify signatures. It's easy. What if she finds out? Possession is 9/10 of the law. She owes me anyway. I've been her girlfriend for 2 years. The prosecutor didn't stop there. They pulled Ava's laptop search history. How to forge a signature. Penalty for forging car title. Can you go to jail for stealing your girlfriend's car? She Googled the crime before committing it. Her lawyer tried one last angle. This was a misunderstanding between romantic partners, he argued. There was implied permission. The judge didn't even blink. Implied permission to use a vehicle does not extend to fraudulently transferring ownership, he said. Ava started sobbing. Her mother wailed in the gallery. Her father stared at the floor. As I left the courthouse, Ethan, the new boyfriend, cornered me. You destroyed her life over a car, he snapped. She destroyed her own life when she stole mine, I replied. She thought you were going to marry her. We weren't even engaged, I said, and that's not how property law works. Security stepped in before he could say more. He was banned from the courthouse. And for the first time since this began, I felt it. The shift. This wasn't about revenge. This was about consequences finally catching up to someone who'd never had to face them. And the worst part for Ava, it was only halfway over. 2 months later, Ava took a plea deal, not because she suddenly understood accountability, but because her lawyer finally convinced her that a trial would end worse. The evidence was overwhelming, embarrassingly so. The prosecution laid it out, piece by piece. The forged DMV transfer forms. The handwriting expert who testified, again, that the signature wasn't mine and barely attempted to be. The fake notary stamp, traced directly to an online order using Ava's credit card. The Instagram posts, each one time-stamped, each one claiming she bought the car. Her own words became exhibits. Her boss babe captions were read aloud in court. The prosecutor didn't rush it. Then came the texts, the ones Ava had sent to her friend while planning the theft. DMV doesn't verify signatures. Possession is 9/10 of the law. She owes me anyway. When those messages appeared on the screen, Ava finally looked at me. Not angry, not defiant, just small. The final blow was her search history. The prosecutor read it slowly, deliberately. How to forge a signature. Penalty for forging car title. Can you go to jail for stealing your girlfriend's car? She had Googled the crime, then committed it. Her attorney stood and argued for leniency. He said Ava had been confused, emotionally overwhelmed, that this was a relationship dispute. The judge didn't raise his voice. This was not a misunderstanding, he said. This was calculated fraud. Ava pled guilty. The deal reduced some charges, but not the reality. Sentence: 6 months in jail, with eligibility for early release for good behavior. 3 years probation. $5,000 fine. $8,500 restitution for my legal fees. 200 hours of community service. Permanent felony record. When the gavel came down, Ava cried. Not the dramatic kind. The quiet kind. The kind that comes when the performance is over. The day after sentencing, I got a call from her father, Richard. Different tone than Diane. Different energy. Lauren, he said, I want to apologize. I waited. We raised her wrong, he continued. We protected her from consequences her whole life. This is on us too. I believed him. I'm covering your legal fees, he added. All of them. Already sent the check. You don't have to. I do, he said. Maybe if we'd done this earlier, none of this would have happened. He was the only one who understood. Meanwhile, online, Ava's friends tried to start a Free Ava campaign. It went nowhere. One of them posted about how the system criminalizes relationship disputes. Someone replied, she literally stole a car and forged documents. That comment got more likes than the post. I got my car back. Had to pay impound fees, but insurance covered it. When I picked it up, the BMW looked tired, like it had been through something. So had I. 6 months after the arrest, Ava was released early for good behavior. 4 months total. She moved back in with her parents. Turns out having a felony record makes it hard to get an apartment, or a decent job, or even the sketchy MLMs she used to promote online. She ended up working at a call center, taking the bus, posting motivational quotes about rising from the ashes, still entitled, just rebranded. I ran into her former friend Maya at a coffee shop one morning. She tried to avoid me. Didn't work. For what it's worth, she said awkwardly, I told her it was stupid. Why did she think I'd let it go? I asked. Maya hesitated. She said you were weak, she admitted, that you'd never actually do anything. I laughed. How'd that work out for her? Maya shrugged. We parted ways. A week later, I got a LinkedIn notification. Someone viewed my profile. Ava. She didn't message, didn't connect, just looked. Out of curiosity, I checked hers. She'd listed her time in jail as a sabbatical for personal growth. The entitlement never ends. But here's the thing. I'm good, really good. My credit is intact, my record is clean, and I still have my car. I dated someone new for a bit. Didn't work out. No rush. I learned something invaluable. Entitlement doesn't announce itself with crimes. It starts small. Boundary violations. Assumptions. That quiet belief that what's yours is theirs. Pay attention, because it escalates. And sometimes, karma doesn't need help. But when someone commits felony grand theft auto and documents it on social media, karma just needs you to make one phone call. Oh, and yes, the BMW still drives like a dream. Sometimes I take the long way home, just because I can, in my car that I bought, that's legally registered to me.